Hello, and thank you for joining me on this journey. Tonight, we will slowly drift into the evolution of batteries, tracing the silent hum of energy that has shaped our world. Imagine the first spark of electricity flickering in Alessandro Volta's laboratory, the soft glimmer of early voltaic piles resting in quiet curiosity. Drift with me through the innovation of lead-acid cells powering early industry, the dawn of rechargeable nickel-cadmium batteries breathing life into portable devices, and the transformative glow of lithium-ion technology shaping modern life. Let your mind wander to the silent power of batteries in space, floating effortlessly in the void, and the quiet promise of solid-state batteries and renewable energy storage. Feel the gentle flow of current through time, connecting past, present, and future as you breathe slowly and allow your body to relax. If you enjoy these relaxing moments, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and turning on all notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos. But for now, just breathe. Let your body relax, release any tension, and allow your mind to drift. Let's begin. In the soft amber glow of a late 18th century laboratory, Alessandro Volta moved with deliberate care, arranging stacks of copper and zinc discs with a precision born of fascination and patience. The air was filled with a faint scent of metal and distilled water, a subtle perfume of discovery that clung to the wooden benches and glassware. Candle flames flickered across the room, casting dancing shadows on the walls and illuminating the gleam of the metals. Volta's hands, steady yet attentive, guided droplets of acid over the surfaces of the discs, bridging each layer with a thin sheet of felt soaked in solution. In these modest arrangements lay the birth of the voltaic pile, the world's first true battery, a device that would carry electrical potential in a form previously unseen. As Volta leaned closer, observing the first faint sparks that leapt across small gaps, the laboratory seemed to hold its breath. Tiny currents coursed through the stack, invisible yet alive, connecting copper to zinc with a subtle vibrancy that hinted at the extraordinary possibilities ahead. The concept of stored energy, once abstract and theoretical, had become tangible. Each flicker, each minuscule flow of ions whispered the promise of a new era in science, where chemistry and physics entwined in delicate equilibrium. Scholars who would later witness Volta's demonstrations described a sensation almost magical, the sense that the invisible forces of nature had been momentarily tamed and given form. The impact of Volta's experiments rippled far beyond the confines of his lab. Across Europe, curious minds bent over manuscripts and prototypes, replicating and expanding upon his work. The voltaic pile became a vessel of inspiration, a source of fascination for scientists and inventors alike. In lecture halls dimly lit by oil lamps, observers marveled at how simple stacks of metals could generate a consistent electrical flow, powering experiments, igniting small sparks, and hinting at the potential for broader applications. With each demonstration, Volta's creation bridged theoretical understanding with practical experimentation, a gentle hum of enlightenment spreading across disciplines. Within the laboratory, the atmosphere was both hushed and vibrant. Beakers, test tubes, and metal tools lined the benches, reflecting candlelight in subtle arcs. The liquid in each pile seemed to shimmer with anticipation, as though holding its breath until touched by the next curious hand. Volta meticulously documented every observation, every subtle variation in voltage and chemical reaction, understanding that these small measurements would ripple through the future of science. It was an age where the rhythm of discovery was patient and deliberate, where each spark and minor fluctuation invited reflection, not haste. The human imagination itself seemed to pulse with the new possibility of electrical power, connecting the cerebral excitement of thought to the tangible world of matter and energy. Through this delicate arrangement of metals, a subtle revolution began to take shape. The voltaic pile was more than a scientific instrument. It was a portal to centuries of exploration, a foundation upon which telegraphy, industrial power, and portable devices would later be built. In imagining the tiny flows within each stack, one can sense the careful orchestration of elements, the measured hand of a scientist attuned to both detail and vision. The birth of the battery was a confluence of curiosity and discipline, a silent testament to the human desire to understand and harness nature. As night deepened outside the laboratory, Volta's lamps cast long, gentle shadows across the walls. Each flicker of candlelight, each spark between metal discs, seemed to echo into the future, tracing invisible currents that would eventually hum through machines, cities, and the devices that touch modern life. In this serene, focused space, the first spark of stored electricity flickered into being, carrying with it centuries of invention yet to unfold. It was here, among stacks of metal, liquid-filled sheets, and careful observation, that the possibilities of human ingenuity first found form in electrical energy, setting the stage for a journey through time, chemistry, and the transformative pulse of power itself. In the early 19th century, laboratories across Europe and America began to hum with the slow awakening of new electrical possibilities. The voltaic pile had revealed that energy could be stored and released, yet these early devices were fragile, cumbersome, and limited in scale. Scientists sought a more stable and practical method to capture and maintain an electric current, turning to larger glass vessels filled with acid solutions and layered with copper and zinc electrodes. These wet cell batteries, also known as galvanic cells, offered a continuous and measurable flow of electricity, enabling experiments that once seemed impossible. Each jar was a miniature universe of chemical interaction, the acidic solution shimmering with subtle reflections of lamplight, a gentle mirror of the activity within. Researchers handled these vessels with careful attention, measuring voltage and current, noting minute changes that hinted at the intricacies of ion exchange and electron flow. The scent of acid, mingling with polished wood and candle wax, formed an almost tangible atmosphere of discovery. In these rooms, students and inventors observed that electricity could now travel farther, linger longer, and be harnessed to perform work. Telegraphs began to rely on such batteries to transmit messages over increasing distances, their signals pulsing along wires suspended between towns, bridging human communities through invisible currents. Each experiment, each careful measurement provided insight into the laws of electrochemistry, gradually building a body of knowledge that would inform generations of engineers and scientists. Laboratories became spaces where observation and experimentation intertwined seamlessly. Flickering lamplight illuminated liquid surfaces as electrodes reacted, generating currents that seemed at once gentle and purposeful. The wet cell battery introduced a new rhythm to scientific inquiry, a patience defined by the slow and steady release of energy, the deliberate monitoring of chemical reactions, and the careful logging of results. Students leaned over tables cluttered with beakers, zinc plates, and copper strips, mesmerized by the first tangible manifestations of controlled electricity. Their fingers brushed cold glass, their eyes reflecting the subtle shimmer of reactive liquids. And in these moments, the principles of energy storage transitioned from abstract concepts to living, observable phenomena. The influence of wet cell batteries extended beyond pure scientific curiosity. Industry and communication began to benefit from this steady, reliable source of power. Telegraph offices proliferated, their long lines of wire transmitting messages faster than any previous human endeavor. Mining operations experimented with electrical signals to monitor machinery, while early laboratories tested electroplating, electromagnets, and chemical decomposition. Each use demonstrated that energy could be captured, directed, and applied to practical work. The ability to store and mobilize electrical power fostered an awareness of electricity not just as a curiosity, but as a tool capable of reshaping labor, communication, and transportation. Chemists and engineers of the era meticulously refined their techniques. Adjustments to the concentration of acid, the spacing of electrodes, and the choice of metals allowed for longer-lasting currents and safer operation. Some experiments resulted in unexpected outcomes. Slight variations in metal purity could dramatically alter current strength, while temperature shifts subtly influenced reaction rates. These subtleties required careful attention, teaching early experimenters to read the behaviors of cells almost as if they were living systems, responsive and dynamic. The wet cell battery became both a teacher and a collaborator, its liquid interiors reflecting the delicate balance of chemistry and physics that governed the world. By mid-century, wet cell batteries had evolved into more sophisticated forms, including the Daniell cell, which offered greater stability and reduced self-discharge. These improvements enhanced reliability, allowing scientists to engage in longer, more complex experiments. The ability to maintain a consistent current opened new pathways in chemistry, biology, and physics. Telegraph wires stretched farther, and laboratories could sustain continuous experiments without frequent interruptions, creating a sense of measured continuity in the unfolding narrative of electrical discovery. As one imagines holding a wet cell battery of the era, it feels simultaneously delicate and potent. The dense glass jar contains within it a miniature world of chemical activity, where copper and zinc, separated by acidic liquid, orchestrate a slow symphony of electron flow. The gentle flicker of lamps and the subtle metallic tang in the air remind us that every advancement rests upon countless hours of observation, adjustment, and thoughtful experimentation. This chapter captures the transformative period when electricity moved from isolated curiosities toward practical applications, linking laboratories, industries, and communities in a network energized by the humble yet profound wet cell battery. The stage is now set for the emergence of more portable, versatile sources of power, which will shape the lives of people and machines alike in the decades to follow. The closing decades of the 19th century ushered in a shift in how electricity could be harnessed and carried as inventors sought to liberate power from the confines of laboratory benches. Wet cell batteries, while effective for sustained experiments, were bulky, fragile, and prone to leakage, limiting their practical applications outside controlled settings. Into this landscape stepped the dry cell battery, a compact and more stable alternative in which paste electrolytes replaced liquid solutions, allowing energy to be contained in cylindrical or rectangular casings that could be handled safely and transported with ease. The advent of these portable cells marked a significant turning point, enabling electricity to leave the laboratory and flow into homes, workshops, and fields. Carbon-zinc batteries became the hallmark of early dry cell technology, their chemical core carefully engineered to generate steady voltage over hours of use. Each cell contained a carbon rod enveloped by a paste of zinc chloride and ammonium chloride, surrounded by a cylindrical zinc casing acting simultaneously as the container and one electrode. The design allowed for a predictable flow of electrons, powering devices that had previously relied on larger, stationary sources. Telegraph operators, engineers, and hobbyists alike began experimenting with small lamps, signaling devices, and rudimentary motors, exploring the newfound freedom of portable energy. The hum of activity in workshops and homes suggested the silent spread of electrical influence as communities slowly adapted to a world where power could move with the user. In urban streets and suburban parlors, the early adoption of dry cell batteries transformed daily life. Flashlights illuminated narrow alleys and workbenches, radios carried voices and music across rooms, and medical devices gained mobility previously impossible with wet cells. Each battery, though simple in appearance, represented the culmination of careful chemical balancing, the interaction of zinc, carbon, and electrolyte pastes generated sufficient current for small circuits without the hazards associated with open liquids. Laboratory lamps reflected off polished metal and glass, casting soft patterns on walls as engineers and inventors adjusted chemical compositions for longer life and safer operation. The world began to feel a little brighter, not just literally, but conceptually, as electricity became personal, portable, and increasingly integrated into daily routines. The chemistry within dry cell batteries demanded subtle precision. Variations in the purity of zinc, the concentration of electrolytes, or the density of the paste could alter performance dramatically. Manufacturers refined these details, ensuring consistency while increasing accessibility to a broader audience. The carbon-zinc cell, for instance, allowed for standardized production, ushering in an era when electricity could be bought, stored, and applied without specialized scientific knowledge. Each innovation was met with cautious excitement as engineers balanced energy output, durability, and user safety. It was a period of experimentation, refinement, and incremental progress, where small improvements rippled outward, enabling new devices, techniques, and practical applications. Communication technology, in particular, benefited from portable cells. Telegraph lines, once limited by cumbersome wet cells, now extended farther, powered by multiple dry cells wired in series. Batteries became lighter and easier to transport, supporting rapid deployment in offices, workshops, and remote locations. Devices for signaling, measurement, and illumination expanded in range and reliability, linking distant communities and enhancing industrial efficiency. The hum of electricity, once contained in academic laboratories, had moved into everyday spaces, creating a new rhythm of human interaction with energy. Simultaneously, inventors explored miniaturization, producing smaller cylinders capable of powering watches, early calculators, and small lighting devices. Each compact battery preserved the core chemistry while adapting its scale to fit the emerging needs of portable electronics. Engineers meticulously documented voltages, discharge rates, and temperature sensitivities, ensuring that cells performed predictably and safely. Laboratory benches glimmered under soft lamps as experiments progressed, each iteration refining the reliability and usability of dry cells for ordinary people. By the turn of the century, dry cell batteries had not only demonstrated the practicality of portable energy, but had also set the stage for the modern era of electronics. From humble flashlights to telegraphs and signaling devices, these cells enabled a world in which power was no longer stationary, but could travel with purpose and intent. The evolution from wet to dry cells represents a decisive moment in human ingenuity, a point where chemistry, design, and necessity converged to reshape the possibilities of everyday life. Through the lens of this transformation, one can trace the subtle yet profound influence of stored energy, guiding society toward a future where personal electronics, mobility, and portable power became essential threads woven into the fabric of human experience. As the 19th century progressed, industrial expansion demanded a new scale of energy storage, and the lead-acid battery rose to meet that need. Invented by French engineer Gaston Planté in 1859, this robust chemical system allowed for repeated charging and discharging, providing a reliable source of power for machinery and emerging technologies. Unlike the smaller dry cells that illuminated lamps or telegraphs, lead-acid batteries delivered the substantial energy required to operate engines, hoists, and early electric vehicles. Their substantial weight and structural strength enabled them to withstand industrial settings, transforming work environments where consistent portable energy had been unattainable. In factory workshops, the presence of lead-acid cells changed the rhythm of labor. Workers observed the faint metallic sheen of lead plates immersed in sulfuric acid, watching as the chemical interaction produced a steady flow of current. Steam engines and mechanical presses could now receive supplemental electrical power, while cranes and hoists moved with a more dependable energy source. Technicians and engineers handled the plates with meticulous care, aware that even a minor imperfection could affect output or safety. The hum of motors powered by these batteries created a steady undercurrent throughout large halls, blending with the clang of tools, the hiss of steam, and the low, methodical chatter of industrial life. Lead-acid technology bridged scientific understanding and practical application. By alternating layers of lead dioxide and spongy lead, separated by sulfuric acid, Planté's design harnessed reversible chemical reactions. Electricity could be stored, released, and restored over many cycles, granting factories and early vehicles a newfound reliability. This durability allowed inventors to explore innovations such as the electric tram, experimental locomotives, and stationary power supplies for lighting in warehouses or urban streets. The balance of energy density and safety became a guiding concern, shaping the careful design and installation of each cell. In laboratories and workshops alike, researchers observed voltage curves and discharge behaviors, refining designs to meet the growing demands of industry. Urban centers began to feel the impact of this energy revolution. Streetcars and trams glided along tracks, powered by lead-acid batteries when overhead wiring was impractical, illuminating streets and connecting neighborhoods. Industrial facilities expanded their capabilities, employing battery-backed systems to maintain continuous operation even when coal or steam power faltered. The chemical hum within each cell translated into tangible work outside laboratory walls, turning human ingenuity into motion, productivity, and societal growth. Observers marveled at the seemingly invisible currents shaping cities, reflecting on how stored energy could direct both labor and human movement with deliberate steadiness. Safety and chemical management were central to the adoption of lead-acid technology. The sulfuric acid electrolytes demanded careful handling, protective casings, and proper ventilation. Engineers and technicians developed guidelines for charging cycles, storage arrangements, and maintenance schedules to prevent spills, overcharging, or degradation of the plates. These considerations fostered a disciplined approach to energy management, ensuring that the promise of industrial power was paired with responsibility. Workshops, laboratories, and even early vehicle manufacturers learned to integrate these bulky yet effective cells, producing systems capable of supporting the first steps toward electrified transportation and factory automation. The legacy of lead-acid batteries extended far beyond their immediate applications. They symbolized the ability to scale energy storage, to deliver substantial power in controlled bursts, and to integrate electricity into human enterprise on a large scale. The presence of these cells in factories, transportation networks, and experimental laboratories marked a turning point in industrial history, signaling that stored electricity could shape not only scientific inquiry, but also the rhythm of cities, industries, and daily life. Each charged plate, immersed in liquid electrolyte, carried within it the potential to move, illuminate, and energize, foreshadowing the increasing centrality of energy storage in the technological landscape. As the 20th century progressed, the demand for compact, rechargeable power grew alongside a surge in personal and portable devices. Nickel-cadmium batteries emerged as a transformative solution, combining durability with the ability to be recharged many times over. Unlike their larger lead-acid predecessors, nickel-cadmium cells were small enough to fit within radios, telephones, and handheld tools, unlocking a new era of personal electronics. Each battery contained a nickel oxide hydroxide cathode and a cadmium anode, separated by an alkaline solution that facilitated reversible chemical reactions, allowing energy to be stored and released efficiently across repeated cycles. Engineers and inventors refined the chemical composition, learning how to balance energy density, lifespan, and safety. Laboratories were filled with softly lit workbenches, each scattered with multimeters, charging stations, and prototype devices. Researchers observed the rhythmic swelling of electrodes during charging, noting the flow of electrons from cadmium to nickel, a silent but profound transformation that brought machines to life. Radios hummed to life in family parlors, telephones connected voices over increasing distances, and portable medical instruments became reliable companions in clinics. Each activation of a nickel-cadmium battery represented a small revolution, transferring electrical potential into practical, usable energy. Portable power reshaped daily life. Individuals could now carry light sources, communication devices, and measuring instruments wherever needed, reducing dependency on stationary power supplies. Inventors explored applications from flashlights for nighttime work to small motors for household devices, expanding human capability in subtle yet impactful ways. The rechargeable nature of nickel-cadmium batteries also introduced a new rhythm to energy management. Devices could be replenished rather than discarded, fostering both efficiency and sustainability in usage. By the mid-20th century, nickel-cadmium technology had woven itself into the fabric of modern life. Radios came alive on camping trips, telephones no longer required direct wiring to the mains, and engineers tested portable tools that would empower new industries. This period marked a shift in the human relationship with energy. Stored power was no longer confined to machines of industry, but was intimately connected to the individual, carried in pockets, backpacks, and handheld devices. Nickel-cadmium batteries illuminated the path to the next evolution of portable energy, laying the groundwork for lithium-ion technology and the increasingly mobile world that would follow. By the late 20th century, the limitations of nickel-cadmium and lead-acid batteries became apparent as electronics demanded lighter, more efficient power sources. Lithium-ion technology emerged as a transformative solution, offering high energy density, long cycle life, and versatility across devices of all sizes. These batteries operate through the movement of lithium ions between a graphite anode and a metal oxide cathode, mediated by a liquid or gel electrolyte. This reversible ion flow allows the storage and release of energy with remarkable efficiency, powering everything from laptops and smartphones to medical devices and electric vehicles. Laboratories illuminated by soft lamps became arenas of careful experimentation as chemists refined electrode materials, explored novel electrolytes, and optimized separator designs. The precise layering of materials and the microscopic structure of electrodes dictated performance, stability, and safety. Engineers observed how lithium ions slipped into graphite layers during charging, only to retreat when electricity was drawn. A rhythmic exchange that transformed stored chemical potential into usable electrical current. Each breakthrough represented a delicate balance of chemistry, materials science, and engineering ingenuity. Consumer electronics benefited profoundly from this innovation. Portable devices gained significantly longer runtimes while remaining compact and lightweight, encouraging a new era of mobility and connectivity. Early laptops, camcorders, and portable medical instruments relied on lithium-ion cells for reliability and consistent power output. Engineers adapted designs to reduce internal resistance, prevent thermal runaway, and maximize cycle life, ensuring that the energy contained within each cell could be drawn on repeatedly without significant degradation. The influence of lithium-ion batteries extended into transportation and industrial applications. Electric vehicles harnessed these cells to achieve ranges and performance previously impossible with lead-acid or nickel-cadmium technology. Energy storage systems for renewable sources like solar and wind became feasible, allowing intermittent energy production to be stored and deployed when needed. Even satellites and spacecraft benefited from lighter, more compact batteries, reducing launch weight while sustaining critical operations in space. The shift to lithium-ion power symbolized a broader transformation in human interaction with energy. No longer bound to bulky, heavy, or cumbersome storage systems, people could rely on portable electricity as an extension of daily life. The invisible currents running through these cells connected centuries of chemical research, from Alessandro Volta's first experiments to nickel-cadmium breakthroughs, culminating in a technology that reshaped both domestic routines and global infrastructure. The lithium-ion battery became a bridge to a future of mobility, interconnectivity, and energy efficiency, establishing the foundation for the next wave of portable and high-performance power solutions. As technology advanced into the late 20th and early 21st centuries, the demand for smaller, more powerful batteries intensified. Devices grew lighter, more portable, and increasingly complex, necessitating energy storage that could fit within the contours of watches, hearing aids, calculators, and wearable electronics. Engineers turned to miniaturization, refining lithium-ion chemistry and designing compact coin cells and microbatteries capable of delivering steady currents despite their small size. Each cell contained intricately layered electrodes and electrolytes, optimized to balance energy density, safety, and longevity, demonstrating that even the tiniest battery could carry the weight of modern convenience. Laboratories dedicated to miniature energy storage became meticulous arenas. Scientists monitored millivolt differences across electrodes, measured discharge curves with high-precision instruments, and examined electrode surfaces with microscopes to detect the earliest signs of degradation. Engineers experimented with variations in anode and cathode thickness, electrolyte composition, and cell casing materials, ensuring that energy output could be reliable despite the limited space. These microcells allowed devices to function for hours, days, or even weeks, supporting an increasingly mobile population reliant on constant connectivity and portable electronics. The influence of compact batteries extended far beyond convenience. Hearing aids restored clarity and autonomy to users, while pacemakers and other medical devices drew life-sustaining power from tiny, long-lasting cells. Calculators and digital watches became ubiquitous, their modest energy requirements satisfied by coin-shaped cells, enabling portability without sacrificing functionality. Portable sensors, fitness trackers, and wearable health monitors depended on microbatteries for uninterrupted operation, demonstrating that energy could be harnessed without intruding upon human activity or design aesthetics. Miniaturization also demanded attention to thermal stability and safety. As cells shrank, internal resistance, heat generation, and chemical reactivity required careful management. Engineers developed protective casings, separators, and advanced electrolyte formulations to prevent short circuits, swelling, or leakage. These innovations ensured that even in compact forms, batteries could maintain reliable performance over thousands of charge cycles, supporting devices that became integral to daily life. Beyond individual devices, the development of miniature batteries facilitated new interactions between humans and technology. Portable computing, wearable communication tools, and personal entertainment devices became seamlessly integrated into everyday routines. Each coin cell, microbattery, or compact lithium-ion pack carried within it decades of electrochemical innovation, connecting the earliest wet cells and nickel-cadmium batteries to the devices that now rest in the palms of our hands. The careful orchestration of materials, chemistry, and engineering enabled these tiny powerhouses to support lives, work, and mobility on a scale once unimaginable. Through these miniature marvels, the role of stored energy evolved from industrial or laboratory applications to personal empowerment. The subtle hum of electrons within a compact battery provided reliability, portability, and autonomy, allowing devices to operate discreetly, continuously, and efficiently. Each cell represented a synthesis of centuries of experimentation, refinement, and innovation, bridging human ingenuity with everyday convenience and paving the way for increasingly sophisticated, portable, and intelligent electronics that define the modern world. High above the surface of our planet, batteries serve as the invisible lifeline sustaining humanity's reach into the cosmos. Space presents an environment unlike any on Earth. Vacuum conditions, extreme temperature fluctuations, and the unrelenting radiation of the sun challenge the most advanced energy storage systems. Lithium-ion and nickel-hydrogen cells became essential tools for powering satellites, space stations, and interplanetary probes, enabling continuous operation where direct solar energy is intermittent or unavailable. The development of these batteries required an intricate understanding of electrochemistry, material science, and engineering, ensuring that stored energy could reliably flow in conditions that are both unforgiving and remote. Satellites orbiting Earth rely on batteries to complement solar arrays, storing energy during periods when they pass through the planet's shadow. During these eclipse intervals, lithium-ion cells discharge steadily, maintaining communications, navigation, and observation instruments. Engineers carefully optimize each cell's capacity, thermal stability, and charge-discharge efficiency, ensuring that power is delivered precisely when needed. Laboratory simulations replicate the harsh extremes of space, vacuum chambers, thermal cycling, and high-energy radiation test cells to verify performance and longevity. Every millimeter of design is scrutinized, as failure in orbit can render an expensive spacecraft inoperable, highlighting the high stakes of energy storage beyond Earth's atmosphere. Onboard crewed missions, such as the International Space Station, batteries support life itself. They store electricity generated by extensive solar arrays, powering lighting, ventilation, water recycling systems, and medical equipment. Lithium-ion cells are selected for their lightweight construction and energy density, enabling critical systems to operate uninterrupted while minimizing launch mass. Astronauts monitor cell performance meticulously, tracking charge cycles, voltage fluctuations, and temperature variations. Any irregularity must be addressed immediately, as energy supply is non-negotiable in a habitat where environmental control and human survival are entirely dependent on electrical systems. Exploration vehicles on other celestial bodies, including rovers on the Moon and Mars, rely on batteries in tandem with solar power to traverse rugged terrain, operate scientific instruments, and maintain communications with Earth. The chemical design of these cells must account for dust accumulation, extreme cold during night cycles, and thermal surges under direct sunlight. Engineers carefully engineer separators, cathode coatings, and electrolyte formulations to sustain capacity despite repeated charge and discharge cycles in alien environments. The movement of ions within these batteries becomes a lifeline, converting stored chemical potential into the electrical energy necessary to drive motors, sensors, cameras, and communication antennas across vast and uncharted landscapes. Space missions also highlight the long-term reliability of batteries. Satellites can operate for decades, and deep space probes may remain in operation for years beyond initial projections. This requires rigorous pre-launch testing, including vibration and shock simulations, to ensure that structural integrity and electrochemical performance remain uncompromised. Engineers and scientists study degradation mechanisms, such as electrode fatigue or electrolyte evaporation, to extend operational lifetimes and maximize the value of each mission. The success of these endeavors is a testament to the fusion of careful chemical design with innovative engineering, where batteries serve as both enablers of exploration and guardians of mission continuity. The evolution of batteries for space applications connects directly to centuries of experimentation on Earth. From Alessandro Volta's first voltaic piles to nickel-cadmium and lithium-ion cells, each step in energy storage technology informed the development of spacecraft power systems. As rovers climb Martian dunes and satellites maintain steady orbits around Earth, the unseen flow of electrons links human ingenuity with distant worlds. These batteries do more than store energy. They embody humanity's capacity to extend its presence into environments that defy life, enabling discovery, communication, and the expansion of knowledge across unimaginable distances. As battery technology proliferated throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, the environmental implications of widespread energy storage became increasingly apparent. Millions of lithium-ion, nickel-cadmium, and lead-acid batteries entered homes, vehicles, and industrial applications, bringing unprecedented convenience while generating significant chemical waste. Each discarded or spent cell contained metals and electrolytes that, if mishandled, could leach into soil and waterways, posing risks to ecosystems and human health. The emergence of sustainable battery management thus became an essential complement to technological progress, demanding innovation in recycling methods, material recovery, and design for reuse. Recycling begins with careful collection and sorting. Specialized facilities receive spent batteries from households, industries, and electronic manufacturers. Workers identify battery chemistries, distinguishing lithium-ion from nickel-cadmium or lead-acid, since each type requires tailored handling. Cells are inspected for physical integrity, charge levels, and potential hazards. Damaged batteries are treated separately to prevent thermal incidents or chemical leaks, while intact units are prepared for the extraction of valuable metals such as cobalt, nickel, lithium, and lead. These metals represent both economic and environmental opportunities, as reclaiming them reduces reliance on virgin mining and minimizes ecological disruption. Mechanical and chemical methods are applied to reclaim these materials. Crushing and shredding break down cells into smaller components, exposing electrode materials and electrolytes for further separation. Chemical leaching dissolves metals selectively, while advanced filtration captures impurities, producing high-purity powders suitable for reuse in new battery production. Engineers optimize these techniques to recover as much material as possible while minimizing energy consumption and emissions. In addition to metals, recycling facilities recover plastics and casings, integrating them back into manufacturing streams for structural components or packaging. This comprehensive approach reflects a growing awareness of the interdependence between technology and environmental stewardship. Lithium-ion batteries, now ubiquitous in portable electronics, electric vehicles, and energy storage systems, present unique challenges. Their high energy density requires precise control during dismantling to prevent short circuits, fires, or toxic exposure. Electrolytes, often containing organic solvents, must be neutralized or safely contained. Researchers explore novel methods such as hydrothermal recovery, solvent extraction, and direct regeneration of electrodes, improving efficiency while reducing environmental impact. At the same time, policy initiatives in Europe, North America, and Asia mandate producer responsibility, encouraging manufacturers to design batteries that are easier to disassemble, contain fewer hazardous materials, and maintain performance over multiple life cycles. Recycling also encompasses social and economic dimensions. Communities dependent on mining operations may benefit from reduced resource pressure, while new industries focused on battery recovery create jobs and technological expertise. Education campaigns raise awareness among consumers, emphasizing responsible disposal and collection practices. Public understanding is crucial, as small actions, depositing old batteries in designated collection points, aggregate into significant environmental benefits over time. Corporate and governmental partnerships reinforce infrastructure, supporting a system where every spent battery becomes an asset rather than a hazard. Scientific research continues to enhance both environmental performance and battery longevity. Engineers develop safer chemistries, more stable electrolytes, and modular designs that simplify disassembly. Life cycle assessments guide design choices, ensuring that future batteries are not only efficient and powerful, but also aligned with principles of sustainability. These efforts extend the lifespan of devices, reduce waste generation, and integrate energy storage into broader strategies for environmental stewardship. The careful orchestration of collection, extraction, and reuse exemplifies a holistic approach to energy technology, where innovation is inseparable from responsibility. Through meticulous recycling, advanced material recovery, and conscientious design, batteries can coexist with ecological preservation. The vision of sustainable currents reflects a balance between human ambition and environmental care, ensuring that energy storage supports progress without compromising planetary health. Each recovered metal, neutralized electrolyte, and repurposed casing contributes to a cycle of renewal, transforming what could be waste into a source of opportunity. This chapter illuminates the intricate link between chemical innovation and environmental consciousness, demonstrating that the story of batteries encompasses not only scientific advancement, but also the shared responsibility to sustain the world that houses our technologies. In the pursuit of safer, more efficient, and longer-lasting energy storage, solid-state batteries have emerged as the next frontier in battery technology. Unlike conventional lithium-ion cells, which rely on liquid electrolytes to transport ions between electrodes, solid-state batteries replace these liquids with solid electrolytes, often ceramic, polymer, or glass-based materials. This fundamental change eliminates flammable liquids, reducing the risk of thermal runaway and fires, while enabling higher energy densities and longer lifespans. The movement of lithium ions through a rigid, stable medium allows for more compact cell architectures, offering transformative potential for everything from electric vehicles to wearable electronics. Solid-state batteries hold particular promise for electric vehicles, where energy density, weight, and safety are paramount. Thinner cells with higher capacities can extend driving range without increasing mass, enabling longer trips and faster charging. The reduction of flammable electrolytes decreases the likelihood of fires in collisions or overcharging, addressing one of the key concerns in current lithium-ion battery systems. Vehicle manufacturers and researchers are actively prototyping modular battery packs that integrate solid-state cells, exploring thermal management, mechanical flexibility, and assembly techniques that preserve efficiency while enhancing durability. The potential impact on transportation is profound, signaling a shift towards safer, lighter, and higher-performing electric vehicles. Beyond automotive applications, solid-state batteries offer solutions for renewable energy storage. As solar and wind energy continue to grow in global adoption, the need for efficient, durable, and safe storage systems becomes critical. Large-format solid-state cells can store surplus energy during peak production and release it steadily when demand rises, stabilizing power grids while minimizing degradation over time. Their longevity reduces replacement frequency, lowering material consumption and waste. Moreover, the use of non-flammable solid electrolytes reduces hazards associated with large-scale battery installations, facilitating the integration of clean energy solutions into residential, commercial, and industrial settings. In consumer electronics, these batteries promise longer runtimes, thinner devices, and faster charging, enabling innovations in smartphones, laptops, wearable technology, and medical instruments. Designers envision devices that are sleeker, lighter, and safer, powered by cells capable of holding more energy in smaller volumes. The stable chemistry of solid electrolytes reduces heat generation and expansion during use, ensuring consistent performance even under demanding conditions. As these batteries become commercially viable, their reliability and compactness could redefine human interaction with technology, making continuous, portable power nearly seamless. Manufacturing solid-state batteries presents unique challenges. Producing dense, defect-free solid electrolytes requires precision sintering, deposition, or extrusion techniques. Interfaces between electrodes and solid electrolytes must maintain uniform contact across the entire cell to ensure efficient ion transport. Researchers explore hybrid designs that combine solid and gel electrolytes, layered composites, and nanostructured materials to balance conductivity, flexibility, and manufacturability. High-resolution imaging, spectroscopy, and computational modeling guide development, revealing how ions traverse solid lattices, how interfaces respond to repeated cycling, and how microstructural features influence safety and performance. The development of solid-state batteries connects centuries of electrochemical innovation. From Alessandro Volta's first voltaic pile to nickel-cadmium cells, lithium-ion systems, and microbatteries, each technological advance informs the principles underlying solid-state design. The fundamental challenge remains the same: storing energy efficiently, safely, and reliably while adapting to evolving applications. Yet, by replacing liquid electrolytes with solid frameworks, engineers have opened new possibilities for energy density, lifespan, and environmental stability. This evolution illustrates how lessons from the past inform the breakthroughs of tomorrow, bridging chemical knowledge with practical implementation. Looking to the future, solid-state technology could support an interconnected world where energy is not only portable and abundant, but also sustainable. Electric vehicles may achieve unprecedented ranges, renewable energy installations could operate more efficiently, and consumer electronics might become sleeker and more enduring. Researchers envision flexible solid-state cells embedded in fabrics or structures, powering next-generation robotics, medical devices, and autonomous systems. Energy storage may become less constrained by size, shape, or chemical volatility, offering a freedom to innovate across industries and lifestyles. As experimentation and production scale up, solid-state batteries are poised to define the next era of stored energy. Their advantages in safety, capacity, longevity, and environmental resilience address key limitations of previous generations while opening pathways for imaginative applications. From softly glowing laboratories, observing lithium migration across solid lattices, to futuristic electric vehicles, silently navigating cities. These batteries illustrate the convergence of centuries of discovery with the promise of a sustainable, energy-rich future. They represent a culmination of chemical insight, engineering precision, and visionary design, guiding humanity toward a world where power flows efficiently, reliably, and harmoniously across every aspect of life. As our journey through the calm evolution of batteries comes to a close, allow yourself to sink even deeper into relaxation. Imagine the soft glow of energy lingering in every corner of your awareness, the invisible currents of innovation weaving a tapestry across time. Feel your thoughts gently fading, your muscles softening, and your breath flowing naturally and effortlessly. Reflect on the quiet revolutions of chemistry, the gentle miniaturization of technology, and the unseen power that sustains modern life. Rest here, fully supported in this safe and serene space. If you enjoyed this relaxing moment, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos. But for now, let your body relax, release any tension, and allow your mind to drift. Good night and sleep well.